Hello and welcome to the next episode in a series of podcasts brought to you by Insurindex. My name is David Melvin, and this is where we shine a spotlight on the evolving role of branding in the insurance industry. From our London studio, we explore during the course of this series how brand identity and innovative marketing strategies are driving growth and transforming the specialty market landscape. And to get these insights, we are sitting down with C-suite leaders of insurance companies to dig beneath the surface of their brand initiative. In this episode, we delve into the complex area of medical indemnity insurance and ask the question, how has brand been instrumental in the creation of a med-mal MGA? The MGA market in the UK has experienced remarkable growth in the last 5 to 10 years, and they continue to be a driving force in the market, often excelling in broker service and offering specialist niche products. Just before COVID hit, the Medical Defence Union, an institution with over 140 years of history in discretionary medical indemnity, made the decision to create an MGA. And today, I'm very honoured to be joined by two esteemed gentlemen from the MDU. David Casement, the Director of Insurance, and Tom Reynolds, the Director of Policy and Communications at the MDU. Now, Tom, for our listeners unfamiliar with the MDU and MDU Insurance Solutions, can you start by telling us a bit about the MDU and how Insurance Solutions Division came about?
Oh, well, thank you, David. And thank you very much for having us on this. It's absolutely brilliant to be here with you as well. It's understandable, and I always say instantly forgivable, that anyone outside of a very niche sector would not have heard of the MDU. And in many ways, that's something historically we've always been very proud of, because we're an organisation that prides itself on being woven into the tapestry of healthcare in the UK, but very much being there in the background. So doctors, dentists, other clinicians, healthcare businesses can get on with their reason for being, looking after patients, caring for their clients. So we're that reassuring presence in the background. So what is the background and where do we come from? So you mentioned 140. This is indeed our 140th anniversary this year. We were founded in 1885. And I always like to describe us as a really early example of a scrappy, crowd-funded startup, actually. We came out of a group of doctors and a group of lawyers seeing a fellow practitioner accused of something he hadn't done, convicted and wrongfully put in prison for an incident that happened during clinical practice. And I think it was a moment for the profession, still in its regulated infancy, looking around and thinking, well, thereby but for the grace, this could happen to any of us. So when that doctor was rightly acquitted, a decision was made, no, this could happen again and will, and again and again and again. So we need an organisation where we can pool resources and come together to defend one another. So that organisation has grown from an organisation of 12, 18 doctors into an organisation that now represents well over 200,000 healthcare professionals around the UK. We've grown, we've evolved, because healthcare has evolved in that time. But the core values of being an organisation that knows who it's there for and who it stands up for, that individual doctor in difficulty, that's as strong today as it's always been.
And how do you position yourself in the insurance space, particularly when it comes to your members who already have, in most cases, discretionary policies or indemnity?
Of course. David, maybe you understand.
Yeah, so, let me go back to the rationale for starting the MGA, so MDU Insurance Solutions. Yeah, as Tom's described, over 100 odd years, we built up an extraordinary brand, and become seen as, in the UK certainly, the preeminent provider of indemnity and medical legal risk management solutions to the profession. We want to continue to develop that and grow it, and to remain the preeminent provider. And it was a very natural progression, therefore, to establish an MGA, to establish an insurance platform, which we hadn't previously had, in order that we could continue to provide indemnity and the associated medico legal risk solutions to a wider array of members, and actually focusing predominantly on corporate organizations, businesses in the healthcare sector. So that's what we did, and we chose to establish in Lloyd's. It was a very intuitive choice. Lloyd's also is one of the very few brands that's actually older and probably better recognised than the MDU. So quite a natural synergy there, and it gives us an opportunity to work with some fairly extraordinary brands within the Lloyd's community as well. So actually, as a brand proposition, MDU Insurance Solutions started with an awful lot of innate advantage, and has led to early growth that probably we would have struggled to achieve had we been a startup MGA without that advantage. So we're very mindful of that.
I think in a recent interview you mentioned the importance of scale and depth in differentiating the MDU service, the MDU solution product. Could you expand on how that comes to life in the context of the branding strategy?
Well, I mean, the old adage is if you don't have a competitive advantage, don't compete. And the insurance space is absolutely full of providers providing exceptional products, great service, servicing the broker community very well, etc. So we would have been arrogant to wander into that space without something different, something special. And it all goes back to the MDU's brand. The brand is not an artificial creation in any sense. It's one of those rare examples of something that has evolved and built and is perceived as it is because of the way it's treated its members over the last 140 years. The brand very closely reflects our purpose of being, and that's what we've sought to position in MDU Insurance Solutions. And so we're going into the market with a proposition that is, look, we have an insurance proposition, we have a very high quality insurance offering. We can offer medical malpractice, general liability, employer's liability. We will bring to market additional lines of business over time. But it's always within the context, and this is what's different, of the MDU's medico-legal, ethico-legal, risk advisory proposition and what we do for our members, corporate members, individual members, but also for the healthcare profession as a members mutual of old standing. So it's a different proposition to that offered by most insurance companies. I think also we saw very clearly the need to support the broker community as well. Previously, the MDU's proposition had not been accessed through intermediaries. MDU Insurance Solutions distributes products that are accessed exclusively through brokers. It's MDU Connect is our product. It's intermediated. So, it's been an opportunity for us to take that brand, which I think is it's a real comfort factor when you're asking a broker, saying, we're new to the market, take a leap of faith. Well, having a brand like the MDU's brand is a huge advantage.
So you're blending the tradition, the 140 years of history, with sort of the innovative new product, and that differentiates you enough in the market to get that edge.
Well, yes, and we're not relying purely on that. That would be, I think, fairly lazy. I mean, we are accompanying that with what we're trying to ensure is an exceptional level of service. The early indications, and we've been trading now for 18 months, nearly 2 years, are that we're hitting the mark so far. So the comments on our service are very favourable. As I say, the brand, I think, has been very useful and relied upon in people making a leap of faith to bring business to us. And our early growth has been very, very encouraging.
So trust is clearly a central part of that branding, given the nature of the services and the medical, legal, and ethical legal thing. How do you build and maintain that trust and move people from the discretionary to the insurance policy?
Well, I mean, the trust point's a really interesting question. And I think, no one can rely on history alone, but history does bear some further mention in that an organisation like ours would not survive 140 years by accident. We're an organisation that survived because we're not only an organisation that keeps its word and is there when people need us, but we're an organisation that's very adaptable. And MDU Insurance Solutions is the latest example of just how adaptable that very established, very traditional, very trusted business at the heart of the healthcare community can diversify to meet a growing demand for change. And that's very much what we've responded to. So it's starting from a position of strength.
Okay. So, I mean, can you give me some examples of how your brand has communicated with the membership, the partnership, in terms of crisis or challenge, and how it's demonstrated?
I mean, what we are unashamedly focusing on managing risk to avoid and minimize, you'll not always avoid, but to minimize claims. Obviously, it's part and parcel of any insurance proposition that you will handle claims as they arise. That's not really where we're focusing in terms of our prime differentiator. Yes, we have an exceptional claims proposition. Our claim statistics are pretty peerless. I think above 80% of claims against our members last year were settled without any damages payment being made. So the claims proposition, all of that is fairly, it's very strong. What we're saying is, look, within MDU Connect, the product, it's the access to the risk management, the advisory services, the educational component. We offer a lot of CPD and educational componentry, the complaints management system that we offer to every member as part of the proposition. All of that stuff is going to minimize the prospect of a claim, and in the early stages of a situation, a storm gathering that can result in a claim, we will be there and we will be much more engaged, grip it early, and that might not be something that you will always find with the classic insurance model.
It's more of a differentiation then. It's more focused on the guidance and the help you could offer rather than an insurance policy and claims.
And so we have a number of examples already in this period of time where insureds have come to us and said, we have a query, we have a situation, it could develop into an uncomfortable situation, and we've been able to give them advice on, for instance, consenting. And armed with that advice, they've been able to make decisions in respect of the clinical care, which has meant that actually what could have become an issue has passed without incident. And that's where we can add value. That's what differentiates us, and that's both to insureds, also for the brokers, but also to the capacity providers that we work with. Our proposition is that we are very well able to understand risk in the healthcare space. That's what we do. We have, I think, circa 50 doctors, dentists who work full time advising the businesses and the members that we have on issues that arise in the care of patients. These are people who have been in practice. They've walked that walk. It's not a commoditized risk management service in any way. It's a very deep, very well resourced, very capable proposition, and one that I think would be difficult to parallel.
Which is a huge differentiation.
We believe so, yes, and happily, our stakeholders seem to believe so as well.
Yes, I can fully understand that. In a recent Insurance TV interview, you mentioned how Insurance Solutions has evolved its brand, navigating a number of challenges. Do you want to expand a bit about some of the challenges you faced in setting up this MGA and getting the position you're driving for at the moment?
Well, I mean, I think anybody in the insurance market will tell you that establishment of insurance business in a market that is sophisticated and caters for any insurance need that you might have, you need to be going in with something fresh, something new, and a reason why. Let's look at what's happening. You're inviting a broker to make a leap of faith from with any number of options of carriers who can provide a great service and a great product. You're saying, no, come to us. We know we're new, but we've got something better. Well, that is a leap of faith, and we don't take that for granted at all. We don't take it lightly. So, you really got to believe that what you're offering is credible, is strong, and actually gives a good reason to go, you know what, this is a different proposition. And it's a good result for you. It's a good result for your insured client. So we've relied very heavily on the MDU's brand, and actually the fact that we are a trusted organization that has not let its members down in its existence, because we wouldn't still be there, the point Tom made earlier. And that has been really impactful in establishing that early trust, and as I say, the very pleasing early growth and trust that we've engendered.
I mean, the insurance business in the London market particularly is, I think it's fair to say, a bit stuffy and doesn't like change and doesn't like new players coming in and think, although there's a huge amount over the last 5 to 10 years of new MGAs coming in, et cetera, you're coming from a background of historical discretionary indemnity. You've launched a new product, and you've obviously overcome that challenge.
Well, I mean, why would you choose an MGA, right? If you're a broker, why would you go to an MGA? It's because the orthodoxy would be that they're better at understanding the risk. They can be more specialist than an insurer can. Well, yes. I mean, we've been doing medical risk, clinical risk for 140 years. We should be fairly good at it, and we are. It's because the service proposition can be slicker. Well, yes, it's a small business, and yet it's a small business established within a significant business. We're north of 400 people in the MDU. So we have lots of resources around us, which can be brought to bear where we need it. But the insurance business is a small, agile platform, and it can provide a great service. So if you can deliver underwriting excellence and you can deliver good service, then that's a great start.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that's how we've overcome the another new player here to sort of, there's only so much pie to go round type challenge, the one as you articulated.
And to add to that, the claims service as well,
of course,
which obviously is key in any branding promise.
Yes, I mean, happily we haven't had to rely on the claim service too much in the insurance business as yet.
That's good news.
So we're happy about that. But we're very confident it's there when we need it.
Oh, that's good. I suppose the other difference is the highly regulated nature of the insurance business, which is obviously different to the discretionary world, and that must have presented some challenges to cross that hurdle into having both discretionary and a regulatory environment under the banner of the MDU.
Well, you've got to walk and chew gum. They are. Yes, there are different governance arrangements around both bits of the business. One operates under a very well understood sort of Lloyd's and regulatory framework. The other is a different business which has been operating in a similar fashion for about 140 years. Another very well established model. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot's been made of that, and certainly something we're mindful of. But the MD is no stranger to running a regulated business, and the people who run and operate within the insurance business come from the market and come from the regulated sector.
Sure.
So we've got a bit of experience of that.
That's good. Now, how do you see the brand evolving and the product evolving over the next 12, 18 months?
Well, I think there's a lot of opportunity for us. I mean, in your introduction, David, to the organisation and what we set up prior to the pandemic, that's an example of how the MDU adapts to change. I mean, the practice of healthcare changed overnight. Dentistry, in particular, in the UK, was very severely impacted, shut down during the pandemic. So we had to rethink very quickly, well, what's our offer? What are we going to do? So we've had to evolve, we've had to adapt our offering a lot in recent years. And I think one of the lessons we've taken away from the pandemic is very much about being that adaptable organisation, a brand that can evolve to meet the changing nature of healthcare delivery. Our traditional business, as you've alluded to, is very much in the realms of an individual member relationship. We're now setting ourselves up with the MGA to be an organisation that's there very much for healthcare businesses with very different needs. So we're trying to find a way, and I think we're finding it very successfully, of pairing the traditional MDU offering with that new prospect.
So more corporatization.
More corporatization.
And you see the market going that way, in a greater fashion than it has been recently?
Almost certainly.
Yeah, I'd say we have, one of our learning points has been that there's definitely a demand for what we're offering. So I think yes.
So that'll then combine from a sort of corporate insurance policy and then go backwards into individuals who are part of that corporate becoming individual insurance holders through you as well?
Well, I mean, we're certainly not seeking to persuade anybody for whom discretionary indemnity is the appropriate indemnity solution, and that is the majority of individual practitioners in the country. That somehow insurance is better for them. It isn't necessarily the case. We are certainly aware, though, that most companies in the healthcare sector rely on the expert services of brokers through whom they buy insurance, and they don't intuitively reach for a discretionary product. Now, that is available, and we do have a business supporting businesses with a discretionary solution, but the orthodoxy in the UK is that businesses tend to buy insurance through brokers. And so we felt there was a very strong case and a need for us to be available to support the broker community, to support those who wanted to buy insurance, but who nonetheless saw the value in the MDU's advisory proposition and the services that we provide. And it's not just advisory, but all of the other services that we provide to members. So you're both an insured and you're a member of the MDU, a corporate member. And as I say, we felt that it was a strong and credible proposition, but we could now say with some confidence that there certainly is a demand, and it's being well received,
being proved.
Absolutely.
That's really good. And I mean, we go back to this point about trust and the guidance you offer, and how that almost comes first in the product offering rather than the claims. This is, as a stuffy market, but it's also quite a competitive market.
Absolutely.
When the established big players suddenly realize, hang on, this is young upstart coming up and trying to eat my breakfast. They're obviously going to improve their offering, but do you think, are you confident that your medico-legal in-house full service will maintain that differentiation for the time being?
Well, I think we are, and I don't just think we are. I know we are, because the 50 plus clinicians that David mentioned there that we have in-house at the MDU. Yes, it's vitally important that they've walked those wards. They've sat in that consulting room chair. They actually understand. They really understand the issues facing those on the front line. But they have a genuine investment in what we do. Colleagues at the MDU stay with us a very, very long time. Our average tenure for these colleagues is over 20 years. They really care about the business. And where we talk about, David, we talk about guidance, support, defense. So much of what we do is seeking to avoid getting to the stage where there is something to defend. It is about that guidance, support coming in at the front end, making sure we're doing everything we can. And David, I think, alluded to some examples earlier where we were walking through, call us up, how do we help you through the consent process? How do we help you through the records management process? That's what is wrapped up as part of this really exciting offer to the community, that we can provide that through this product. But the MDU sitting behind it, which is a point I would like just to explore a little bit with you, is that we're an organization where, coming to us, you're buying into being part of a solution to many of the problems facing the market: the rising cost of clinical negligence, issues with the regulators, the CQC. It's very well documented, the state the CQC is in at the moment. The MDU has a voice in Westminster. We have a powerful voice. We have a platform. We're there meeting with the Department of Health, with the Ministry of Justice. We're there in Parliament lobbying on behalf of the sector. So we're not just there guiding, supporting and defending individual doctors, individual businesses. We're actively invested in trying to prevent the problems occurring in the future and really tackling the existential problems that there are in the market. So it's when we talk about this proposition and how it's an exciting proposition, that's all part of it. You're buying into something a little bit more, a little bit extra. You're buying into something that's driving solutions.
That has a vested interest in many ways.
Absolutely.
And can be seen to be a part of the whole environment that's been set and the change has been set, and you're becoming a member of that.
Absolutely. I mean, the MDU, when we speak, we determinedly only speak on issues where we know we can add real value. And where you reflect on the impact of the CQC, an investigation not conducted properly, when you reflect on the issue with practitioners not being able to get onto the dental register, when you reflect on the cost of clinical negligence and the money that diverts out the system and what it does to premiums, this is these are serious issues that very few people can speak with the same authority that we can, because we're not only coming at it from an indemnity and insurance point of view, but we're also bringing that voice of the doctor, that voice of the dentist, our members, 200,000 of them behind us. It's a unique proposition.
And you mentioned how are we seen by our the longer established competitors? Well, we find, and I think this is indicative of the London market generally, the competition it's expected. There's plenty of business to go round. It's constructive, but also we're working with a number of these more established competitors, or backing our MGA. So I think there is, the MDU is seen slightly differently as just another competitor. We have been around probably for a lot longer than the so-called more established competitors in some form or other. So we're a known quantity.
It's an element of trust, isn't it? It's that authenticity and trust that is so key in the whole thing.
Yeah. And we're not going to boil the ocean. We're sticking to our knitting. This is a healthcare first MGA. It is MedMal first. It's healthcare first. We will offer a wide range of lines of insurance, but fundamentally we're focusing on the healthcare sector. And we're focusing on the treatment risk to start with, and that's where we're going to be. We are a specialist MGA. You said niche, I think boutique.
Boutique. I like that. I like
that. And that's where we intend to be. So I don't think I don't think anybody's looking at us going, that's out of control, or people understand what the MDU does.
I think I really look forward to the future and seeing how it develops.
Thank you very much,
David, Tom. I think it looks like we've run out of time. Thank you both very much for a fascinating set of insights. We've heard how MDU insurance differentiates itself both in the crowded MGA space, but specifically in the complex world of the medical indemnity through its authenticity, can't say the word, authenticity, its specialist branding, and its building of trust with its members. The conversation today has shown us that branding insurance is far more than just marketing. It's about creating a reliable, forward-thinking identity that resonates with people, especially in industries where trust is so critical. As always, a thank you to all of you for listening to another episode of the Insurindex Podcast. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, please make sure you subscribe to the Insurance Podcast series to keep up with future episodes. Like and share on the various social channels. And make sure you never miss an episode as we dive deep into the industry trends and branding strategies. And continue our exploration into how brand, identity and innovative marketing strategies are changing the shape of the specialty insurance landscape. This is David Melvin, and until the next episode, goodbye.